Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to implement the functionality for the edit text. So I'm just going to go right here after we set up this seek bar. We are in main activity.java, as you can see right here. And so just after this semicolon, I'm just going to go and say setup edit text. And so I'm just going to say edt yearly income dot add, and I'm going to add an on text change listener. And so in order to do this, I'm just going to type add text changed listener. That's the exact keywords that you want to use. And then we're just going to be using what's called a text watcher. And I'm just going to use this one that you can see over here. And I'm just going to hit enter. And as you can see right now, we have three functions created. The before text change function, also the on text change, and also after text change function, and this is the one we're going to be using. So right now what we want to do is, and I'm just going to leave a comment right here, we're just going to be calculating the maximum amount of savings allowed on the slider for each user. So basically let me first of all just take a note over here, calculate max amount allowed on seek bar for each user. So each user will have a maximum amount depending on his yearly income. And in order to calculate this, we're just gonna have to implement this string variable right here in order to take the value that's displayed on the edit text. So we're gonna be calling it yearly income as text. By default it is a text, so even though the user inputs a number in that field, by default when Android Studio gets the value from that edit text, it gets it as a text, so not as a number. So we're just going to specify that we have this variable as a text, and then we're just going to say edt yearly income dot get text. And it's not a string right now, it's just an editable object, so we just have to make sure that we specify it to string so that it is a string indeed. So right now we have it as a string. We just need to make sure that we parse it as a double variable. So we're just gonna say double and then yearly income as number. Okay, and we're gonna say is equal to, right now we're gonna say 0. We're not gonna call the parsing function so that it will change this from text to number. We're not gonna do that yet. We just want to verify that the user has some value inside this text box. Otherwise, if it is a null string, it will give us an error and our application will crash. So just have to say if, and then we're going to be checking if this yearly income as a text is empty. So we're just going to say dot is empty. Okay, and basically we are interested if it's not empty. If it's empty, then we're not going to do anything. If it's not empty, so we're just going to put this sign. As you can see, the exclamation sign, it means not. So we're going to be checking if this yearly income as text is not empty. Okay, so if it's not empty, we can just go on and we're gonna be parsing it as a double. So just we're gonna use this double library dot parse double, and as you can see we have to pass a string as a parameter, and our string that we're gonna be using is this yearly income as text. Okay, so as you can see right now, what this line does is we're gonna parse this text as a number and store it inside this yearly income as a number. And in case this is empty, we just initialize it with 0 so that we still have a value over there. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is, since we have this value over here, we just want to calculate the maximum amount. So we're just gonna create a variable double weekly income. We want to make sure that the weekly income will be, in our case, the yearly salary divided by 52, so the number of weeks in a year. So we're just gonna say weekly income equals, and then yearly income as a number divided by this weeks in a year. So right now we have it already set up. Okay, so since we have this one, we just want to make sure that we make another variable, and we're gonna call it max savings allowed on the sig bar. So we're gonna say weekly income, and then we're gonna say half of it. We're just gonna use half of it. So basically what is gonna be this maximum savings allowed on the sig bar is just gonna be half of the weekly income. Okay, so right now we get an error, and this is because, as you can see right here, it says incompatible types required int found double, and this value is basically a double, and we want to make it an integer because on the slider we won't have also doubles allowed, so not decimal numbers. We're gonna have only integers. So in order to change this to an integer, we're just gonna put this in brackets and say int, and also this result we're gonna put it in brackets just to make sure we truncate it after the result is computed. And so right now we have the maximum savings allowed. We have it as a as an integer variable. We just have to make sure that we set up the amount on slider. So I'm gonna leave a comment, set up amount, or just maximum amount, max amount on the sig bar or the slider, as I want to call it. Okay, and so we're gonna say right now sig bar, and then just we're gonna be using this set max, and as you can see it needs an integer, and we're gonna pass this maximum savings allowed as the value. And so right now I'm just gonna run the emulator to show you the changes that we did, and we still have to wait. This is the previous screen that we had. As you can see, Gradle is building the files, and we have it finished right here with 0 errors. We're gonna ignore the warnings for now, so I'm just gonna write here, let's say 60,000, and we're gonna change this weekly savings, and as you can see it's more than 100. It's just depending on the user. And also if I have, for example, 52,000, I will have a different one. The maximum allowed will be 500, and as you can see we also have the result over here. The only thing that we don't have is this reset button that just doesn't do anything as I click it. So in the next video I'm just gonna show you how to implement the functionality for the reset button. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.